Mark. Ready? All right, I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Twinsburg Board of Education. This is Wednesday, June 3rd, 2015. Mr. Welker, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Stuver?
Here.
Mrs. Kane Griswold?
Here.
Mrs. Davis?
Here.
Mrs. Turrow-Waldron?
Here.
Mr. Felber? Here.
I'd like to ask everyone to please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, it's a light crowd tonight, but I'd like to say thank you to those who are here. Thanks for attending. I'd like to begin the evening with a very brief update regarding the state budget, which, as a reminder, is known as House Bill 64. Back in late April, an amended House bill was passed and is now being debated in the state Senate. It's expected that the state Senate will introduce the Senate version of the budget bill on June 8th, which will be followed by a week of testimony. The Senate version of the budget bill is expected to address the elimination of school funding caps and guarantees. Funding caps affect school districts such as Twinsburg by capping or reducing the amount of state funding that a school district receives through the funding formula. In the original plan proposed by the governor, which would have cut funding for more than half of the 610 school districts in Ohio, then the amended House version of the budget bill contained a hold harmless provision that is designed to ensure that school districts will not receive less funding than the current funding levels. And now it is expected that the Senate's version of the budget will tinker with the funding formula and could have a negative effect for districts with declining enrollment due to the changes in the formula, which is related to the funding guarantees. On the other hand, the Senate's version, which would eliminate funding caps, would be beneficial to districts experiencing enrollment growth. It's expected that the Senate will vote on this budget bill by June 17th, and at that time it's likely that a conference committee made up of members from both the House and the Senate will have to convene to resolve differences in the different versions of the bill. The Ohio budget process is in fact coming to a conclusion as the state legislature will vote on a final version of the budget bill by the end of the month. A note this evening, Mrs. Powers is not present at this Board of Education meeting because she has received an invitation to meet with Senator Lehner in Columbus tonight. Mrs. Powers is one of 8 school administrators from across the state who will meet to discuss testing and accountability measures. Senator Lehner chairs a Senate Advisory Committee on testing, and this advisory committee was appointed on March 4th by Senate President Faber, and a 30-member advisory committee was comprised of teachers, parents, and school leaders. Considering that the statewide feedback has been unfavorable, this committee was tasked to review testing and the accountability measures and provide advice to the Senate on how to improve the state testing requirements. It's a positive step that Senator Faber and Senator Lehner have invited individuals who are directly involved in education to provide advice and recommendations. Some of the topics that have been considered by the advisory committee include scaled back testing and timing of the testing that makes more sense for teachers and students. The goal should be more classroom instruction and less disruption in learning. Testing results must be returned in a timely manner that will be of benefit to student instruction. Consideration of a provision called Safe Harbor, which allows reporting of testing results, but teachers and school districts are not penalized for results during that transition year. The committee also desires a better communications plan to provide clear information about the tests to parents, teachers, and student school leaders. And the committee also has reviewed the current test providers with consideration of possibly using other vendors for the state tests if the current vendors will not make changes to the tests for the next year. So all in all, it's encouraging that this advisory committee was established and that it's comprised of individuals who are more directly involved in education. And this evening, a small group of school administrators, including our own superintendent, are sitting at the table with Senator Lehner to review the committee's work and provide further advice. At the end of the day, it's important that the recommendations and decisions about education of our students are derived from those who are closest to the topic, which is our teachers and school administrators, and not solely based upon the opinion of legislators who are not experts in the field of education. We had many meetings during the past year with our representatives in the State House and Senate regarding education and testing, and I want to highlight again that our superintendent has been a very active voice in Columbus with the legislators regarding these important topics, and I'm glad that we have a voice at the table. And finally tonight, a recognition to our senior class. Last Sunday, commencement was held for the class of 2015 at E.J. Thomas Hall in Akron, and the board wishes to thank Mrs. Tarango and all of the staff who planned and made this event possible. It's an enormous organizational exercise and is for the benefit of our graduating students and their families. Congratulations to our students, and thanks to our staff for a job well done. And now that school is out, I would like to remind everyone that you'll see increased activity in our community. So please be careful when traveling through our neighborhoods and be aware that young children will be out playing outside. And one final note about our students, some recent news, we have a big giant tiger good luck to the members of our THS track team and coaches Tom Tomey, Sarah Komet, Spencer Johnson, Daryl Sutherlands, Anthony Bird, and Chuck Glover, who are headed to Columbus this weekend for the OHSAA State Track and Field Championship. And here's a list of the student athletes and the events that they'll be participating in the state meet. Rocky Jones and Amari Foote in the 100-meter dash. Amari Foote, Brianna Sanborn, Laura McKinley, and Chelsea Billingsley will compete in the 4x200 relay. Amari Foote, Lauren McKinley, Brianna Sanborn, and Rocky Jones will compete in the 4x100 relay, and Amari Foote will race in the 200-meter dash. I think Miss Foote is going to be tired. I just listed her name 4 times. So good luck to our Tigers. Go get them. That's all I have for the President's report tonight. We will not have a superintendent's report, so I will move forward into our agenda on communications, which is item E in the agenda, to committee reports. One note that we will have a Finance Committee meeting this Friday morning. This is June 5th at 7 a.m. at the board office. For my colleagues, do you have any other comments under committees?
That's what I was going to say.
That was it.
That was all I was going to say. It's fine.
Peter, Kathy, anything?
Just a reminder that we will be starting on the turf project on June 8th. So those of you that will see some activity up there, it's a very exciting time. And also some of the parking lots, RBC, will also be starting. So just bear with us as we make all these wonderful improvements to our schools. So thank you.
Okay, I do not have any blue cards. Mr. Welker, anything for remonstrance tonight?
I do not.
Reported. Okay. We will move forward in the agenda then to our action items. First, under agenda item G, the Treasurer's Report and Recommendations. Without objection, I will read these 3 together, consent agenda. Item G1, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the following meeting minutes. The regular meeting of May 20th, 2015, which was sent to the board under separate cover. Item G2, that the Board of Education accepts the following financial report for the month of March 2015, Bank Reconciliation, General Fund Financial Summary Report, and the financial report by fund as sent to the board under separate cover. And item G3, that the Board of Education accepts the check register for the month of March 2015. The total including payroll is $3,551,358.08. Is there a motion for these 3 agenda items, please?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Felber, a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Davis. Any discussion for these 3 items? Roll call, please.
Mr. Felber,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Kane Griswold,
Yes.
Mrs. Turl Waldron,
Yes.
Mr. Stuber.
Yes. Those 3 items pass 5-0. Next in our agenda are action items regarding personnel. Again, without objection, I will read items H1, 2, and 3 together, consent agenda. Item H1, that the Board of Education accepts the certificated licensed personnel and/or contract recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks. Item H2, that the Board of Education accepts the classified personnel and/or contract recommendations detailed in the attached Exhibit H2 as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks. And item H3, that the Board of Education accepts the supplemental contract recommendations detailed in the attached Exhibit H3 as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks. Is there a motion for these 3 agenda items, please?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Davis, a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Turl Waldron. Just to note, there's quite a few items listed under personnel. Many of these are related to activities for the art exhibit at the Tribute of Freedom. We also have some folks being compensated for professional development time, and also the Roar into Reading program, which is specifically focused on helping our third grade readers, which is all related to the third grade guarantee. And also, I just wanted to note that there are some folks that are listed here related to the basketball camp. This is a student-paid activity, and the funds simply flow through the student activity account, so it must show up on our agenda tonight. We also have some summer bus drivers that will be supporting city day camps, and we have some agenda items later in the agenda that will be related to the city day camps as well. Any other comments or discussion on these items? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Turl Waldron?
Yes.
Mrs. Kane Griswold?
Yes.
Mr. Felber?
Yes.
Mr. Stuver?
Yes. And those 3 items pass 5-0. Next on the agenda is new business under action item I. Again, without objection, I will read action items 1 through 6, consent agenda. We will act on 7, 8, and 9 separately. Action item I1, that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the list of books to be deleted from inventory as per the attached Exhibit I1. Action item I2, that the Board of Education approves the revised 2015-2016 Student Parent Handbook for the Twinsburg High School, which was sent to the board under a separate cover. Item I3, that the Board of Education accepts a donation from Baldwin Wallace College in the amount of $1,000 to be used for student extracurricular programming at Twinsburg High School per the attached Exhibit I3. Item I4, that the Board of Education approves an amended service agreement between the Twinsburg City Schools and PSI affiliates, which for nursing services, medical assisting services, and health aid services commencing with the 2015-2016 school year through the 2016-2017 school year. The contract is a general fund expense. It was sent to the board under separate cover. Item I5, that the Board of Education approves the lease agreement with the City of Twinsburg Parks and Recs Department to utilize yellow school buses for the summer of 2015. The City of Twinsburg will compensate the Board of Education for the use of the buses, including mileage, gas, and bus drivers per the terms and conditions set forth in the agreement, which was sent to the board under separate cover. And finally, item I6, that the Board of Education approves a memorandum of understanding between the Twinsburg City School District and the Twinsburg Support Staff Association regarding bus drivers for the Twinsburg Parks and Rec program for summer 2015. This MOU was sent to the board under separate cover. Is there a motion for these 6 agenda items, please? Moved by Mr. Felber, a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Kane Criswell. I would like to note under I4 the agreement with PSI affiliates. This is a agreement for nursing services that we've had for some years now, and when we first went down the route of contracted services for our nursing services, the district was able to see a savings in our expenditures in this area. This particular contract renewal, this program, by the way, has been very successful in the district. This particular contract reduces the costs to the district by over $20,000 for the next school year. This is based upon a lot of work that's been done by Ms. Trapphagen, who adjusts the needs of where the contracted nursing services need to be provided based upon student location and student needs. And because she has been observant of what the student needs are and what's in the contract, we've been able to reduce the cost of the contract, or actually over the next 2 years, by over $20,000. So a kudos and thank you to our administrative staff for being on top of that one. And then, as I mentioned before, items I5 and 6, these 2 agenda items are related to the city's day camp. And one of the things that we have received information from our legal counsel regarding the city day camp is that we needed to tweak how the bus drivers are being paid. In the past, they were paid through the city, and we've been advised that it needs to be done through the school district. So we had to set up a memorandum of understanding, an MOU with TSSA, so that we could set the appropriate rates for the bus drivers, and then the agreement, which is I-5, is the agreement for the leasing of the buses by the city, which will compensate the school district for the use of those buses. And a thank you to Baldwin-Wallace University for the donation of $1,000 for the high school. That's very nice. Any other discussion points for these agenda items? Roll call, please.
Mr. Felber,
Yes.
Mrs. Kane Griswold,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Turl Waldron,
Yes.
Mr. Stuver.
Yes. Those 6 items pass 5-0. We'll now move to the last 3 agenda items under new business. Without objection, I will read items I-7, 8, and 9 together, consent agenda. Item I-7, that the Board of Education approves the purchase of camera software licenses and encoders from Redshift Technology of Strongsville, Ohio, in the amount of $19,478. This project will be paid for using permanent improvement funds, was sent to the board under separate cover. Item I-8, that the Board of Education approves the purchase of camera servers from Aventus Systems located in Marietta, Georgia, in the amount of $22,887. This project will be used or paid for using permanent improvement funds, and the agreement sent to the board under separate cover. And finally, item I-9, that the Board of Education approves the purchase of bus cameras from an Ohio Schools Council contract from REM Communications Incorporated out of Columbus, Ohio, in the amount of $42,248. This project will be paid for using permanent improvement funds and was sent to the board under separate cover. Is there a motion for these 3 agenda items, please?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Davis, a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Kane Griswold. I'm going to just highlight quickly and then ask Mr. Welker to provide a little background to these 3 items. This, what it will do is replace our current camera technology in the buses from analog to digital. It's better quality, and it outfits all of the buses. We didn't have the entire fleet outfitted with cameras, and it does provide some GPS tracking capabilities. Mr. Welker, I'll let you fill in the blanks. I know there's some stuff that you have to filter due to security reasons, but if you could just give us some additional background.
Sure. So we're very excited about all these items. I-7 and 8 provides us with an upgrade to our camera system infrastructure to support converting our analog into digital, and then also provides us with a backbone that's necessary to expand our cameras in the future if we want to add additional digital cameras. So it also will provide our necessary users with enhanced access through mobile technologies. So you'll be able to access it through an iPad, through a tablet, smartphone, things like that, through of course the necessary security for that. So those are items I-7 and 8. I-9 will definitely enhance our transportation services because not only will it provide full security camera coverage on all of our buses, but it also provides us with a passive GPS system on all of our buses. And that passive GPS, we can track where the buses have been, how fast they've been going, how long they've been idling. They're connected to our doors, so we can see when a bus is stopped at a particular bus stop. So a lot of great passive technologies that would help us in just supporting our bus drivers and providing the best service that we can.
Any questions for Mr. Welker? Any other discussion?
Just a quick question. With that technology, does that give us any opportunity to reduce, like, insurance rates?
There may be some opportunities that we could look into, and I actually have a meeting with our insurance company on Friday. So I'll be ensuring that I bring this up to them. So it may have that possibility.
Thanks.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Kane Griswold,
Yes.
Mrs. Turl Waldron,
Yes.
Mr. Felber,
Yes.
Mr. Stuver.
Yes. And those three items pass 5-0. Bringing us to the final point here under miscellaneous. Do any of my colleagues have any comments?
Just a couple, echoing some of your comments about commencement, sitting there trying to condense 4 years and listening to all the accomplishments and remembering something around 26,000 community service hours and all the clubs and such. It was just very impressive, and just seemed like a really rock solid group that are going out with Tiger strength. Not sure if this broadcast will be out in time for this weekend, but thanks to the schools, because this weekend is really for life, noon to midnight on Saturday. So this broadcast makes it head up there, and I know Chad's worked with the committee there and helping get that set up. So appreciate your help there.
Absolutely. Anything else?
I just wanted to say, the Twinsburg commencement, I was thoroughly impressed by the class of 2015, and got the opportunity to shake everyone's hand, and I was just amazed at the eye contact, the way the class of 2015 acted, and just very honorable. I was just amazed.
It's a great event.
I think there was a little cheering though between the Belinda people and the Mr. Popovich. I don't know who was getting more cheers there, Belinda, but it's like you got a couple fan clubs started. All the ones that you probably saw coming up.
Okay, very good. If there's nothing else, I would like to ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Felber. A second, please.
Second?
Second by Ms. Turl Waldron. Roll call, please.
Mr. Felber,
Yes.
Mrs. Turl Waldron,
Yes.
Mrs. Kane Griswold,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Stuver.
Yes. Thank you for attending tonight. The Board of Education is now adjourned at 7:24.
I think it's a record, Kate.